A certain someone that I know in real life has found my YouTube channel and basically complained to me how my content isn't nerdy enough. So blame them for this economics lessons on skins. Also, I had a Twitter poll and this topic won. If you've played any multiplayer games or any single player games in the past few years, chances are they offer some sort of cosmetic items. While they range from game to game, some things are same in all of them. Number 1, they will look different from the default. Number 2, they will be rarer than default item. And number 3, they will invoke some emotion in you. So let's use some examples first. Starting with some very obvious ones would be multiplayer games. Paladins has some great skins, I imagine a lot of you would agree, but it's natural to disagree as well. Depending on the rarity of the skin, your in-game skills also get you a cosmetic change as well. Some games that do the same thing from the top of my head are Dota 2 and Awesomenauts. Then we have games like Pokemon. In here you don't get a skin in a traditional sense, but if you've played even a little bit of Pokemon, you know I'm talking about shinies. They don't add any effect on your Pokemon, they just look good. Another game in which skins don't do anything apart from looking good is Counter-Strike, but more on that game in a while. Finally, we have cosmetic items that not only change how you look, but they also change some abilities through static changes or even some game mechanics. The best example of this would be TF2 or Team Fortress 2. So why are the skins the way they are, and why are they implemented the way they are? Well, there are quite a few reasons, so let's begin. Number 1, your identity. Similar to music taste, visual art is also subjective. What some people like doesn't mean will be liked by a different group. A good example of this is graffiti art. Some people like the raw and carefree style of this art, while some call it barbaric, but that's not the point. In games like Paladins, you can equip multiple types of cosmetics for various things like body, head accessory, weapon, taunt, spray, and I'm calling it right now, pedestals as well. With so many items you can choose from, you can build your own identity in-game that portrays your likes and your ideal design. Just think about it, why do you think Eevee has a Christmas, Rockstar and 80s themed skins? Why do you also think Makoa is available in both cute plushie skin and a ferocious lava set? The game developers want to appeal to a wide array of people with a big champion pool. On the same topic, we have champion picks. In Paladins, at least this is true. I'm sure this is true for some other games as well. Let's use Ying as the primary example. She has 2 epic sets. The first one being the Genie, and the latest in OB52 was the robotic Ying set called Replicant. She also has a Twitch exclusive skin which you get for linking your accounts to Twitch, a Quicksilver Ying skin which you get from drops while watching programs on Twitch, and finally a 2017 convention skin. On the opposite end of the spectrum we have Grok. No epic cosmetics items for him at all. He is the only original Paladins character not to have any items greater than a rare. The items he does have are the Valentine staff and the Overgrown staff. While I'm sure they will eventually add skins for Grok, it makes more sense to add skins for the popular champions like Androxus and Victor. The basic logic here is, the popular the character, the more likely people are going to buy their skins. Number 2, Rarity. This is going to be a lot more applicable the longer the game lasts. In all games, skins are a rare thing, well they have to be. Like we mentioned before, in Pokemon it's shinies. It's a 1 in 8,192 to encounter one. This is your normal type of rarity. It's statistical and it's the most easiest to implement. In games like Paladins and Smite, there are skins like the Viking Pip and Poseidon, which were both available for a very short time. This is your time-based rarity. They are still a very common thing in free-to-play games. It rewards the regular players while making newer players regret that they did not get the skin earlier. Your time-based rarity is Fashion Frame, or also known as Warframe. The thing is, there is always a desire for something rare. Humans have always wanted it. Why else do you think there are so many stories with the premise of finding treasure of unimaginable value? It's a big driver in how skins are valued. You must have heard the phrase that skins equal skills. I use it a lot in discussions and many other games as well. But why is that so? Another very human thinking is, the rarer the item, the better it is. So when you see a player with skins you can no longer get, one of two things normally comes to mind. Number 1, The player must be good as he has a now unobtainable skin for X-Champion. Number 2. This player spends a lot of money in a game, so he must be good. Both these statements don't have to be true, and very often they're not. Hell, I have all the skins in game and my performance is a hit and miss most days. And there are some pros that equip no skins then proceed to dominate the casual and even competitive games. But normally when a player sees another player with some good looking skins, this thought does spring to mind once or twice. Number 3. Value. This is a bit more different as there are many ways to describe value. There is the monetary sense in which the rarer the skin, the more it costs. In Paladins, the most expensive skin is Starslayer Ruckus, as it's the only legendary skin in game so far. But we all know getting a Radiant Chest exclusive skin is much more expensive. That's why enchanted keys are a godsend. Then we have mastery skins. Once you reach a specific level, you unlock a special skin which can't be purchased outright. You need to spend hours, days, or even weeks to get them. Once you equip them in skin, it's a reminder of what hard work and actual grind looks like. The ranked borders play the same role as you have to get them after a certain amount of wins. And then there is the luck value, which is the biggest value so far. In a lot of games, you will not be able to buy the skins outright. You need to go through some RNG system, most commonly known as the chests and cases. We also have the Rarity system in which you can't buy things outright. Games which use an RNG system to sell skins mean that if you get a rare item, you are literally 1 in a million. Figuratively. CSGO is the best example of this again. So when you equip a skin, people know that you won a lottery and it invokes a jealousy in people. This jealousy, believe it or not, is a great marketing tool that a lot of companies use. When the game devs use an RNG system to distribute cosmetics, it really is random, as the name implies. So in games when you have a rare cosmetic, other people will want that as well. So seeing someone unlock a rare cosmetic, why not try it for yourself? This jealousy will now make the customer buy a chest, and voila, you have a paying customer. Some players really don't care about skins and just want to play the game. Good for them. I, on the other hand, want all the cool skins. But every patch a new cool skin is released, I must have it as well. We have the Overgrown Chest, which released a really cool looking Cassie bow, which, you know, fit her theme. So naturally I wanted that and got it. But then the exact next patch we had the Nerf Chest, which made Cassie shoot Nerf rockets. That was also cool. Now, Paladins has been at this for over 30 patches now, and I now have every single skin in the game. I'm also what's referred to as a whale, and no, I'm not talking about my weight. Building on from RNG and cases, there's actually a few RNG systems, but for the sake of the video we cut that down to 2. There are cases in which it's possible to get duplicate items, and then there's cases where you can't get duplicates. There are more subsystems with this, but this is what it boils down to mainly. While Paladins has both systems, Radiant Chest dropping Essence as the duplicates, and then we have case specific skins, when once you get the skin you can't get it again in your drop. Focusing on the first one a bit more, that's a lot more lucrative and at the end of the day a whole lot more profitable for game developers or publishers. And trading, which is the last thing. And oh my god, this is arguably the greatest, shadiest, cleverest, and well, the most exciting implementation a game can ever have. Once the ability to exchange items with another player is implemented as a form, the developers have essentially created a marketplace. Now, quick economics lesson. A marketplace is essentially where sellers meet to sell and the buyers meet to buy. While we have physical markets, virtual markets exist too. That would be eBay, Alibaba, and of course the share markets. But they use real money. What we mean by that is the currencies that are issued by the central bank of your respective countries. For economies in game, you can't use real money. You need a substitute. So if you were even somewhat active in the TF2 trading days, which I guess most of you were not, you would know that the primary currencies were keys, refined, and earbuds. But if you wanted to trade an item that was quite expensive, you wouldn't or couldn't just trade a ridiculous amount of keys. You would want to use another item that was stable in prices as well. These would be your earbuds. Earbuds would be worth multiple keys. While they're not as much worth as they were once, earbuds were initially around 30 keys each. Then they dropped to 15, and now I don't know the exact prices, but the last time I checked they were 7 to 8. Jumping back to the economics lesson, every market needs two main components to function: demand and supply. Demand is your buyers and supply is your sellers. So this works on a balance. Where demand and supply meet will be the point at which the item is priced and eventually sold. Quickly making sure you got all that, there are a few conditions that dictate the pricing using this model. The lower the supply of an item, the higher it will be priced. For example, look at the M4A4 Howl Fiasco in CSGO. The higher the demand, the higher the item will be priced as well. And you inverted these two to get the other two conditions. So far so good. With these games, CSGO especially, it's run entirely by supply and demand. Unlike in the real world where you have things like price floors, government intervention, etc. The economy is sustained entirely by supply and demand. It is as pure as an economy can get. Now, for those who don't know, I used to be a CS trader a long time ago, and while I have quit now, I did get some perks and memorabilia, while of course making a small profit out of it as well. As an end item, you know the skins you get to remind you of your trading journey, just happens to be one of the rarest CSGO skins in the world, and by far the rarest AK-47 skin. I'm not a collector or anything, but I keep this skin, among some others as well, so other collectors can't have them. Call me bad, but you know, it's fun. While this story isn't exactly shady, you must have heard some of the shadier things as well. The one that immediately comes to mind is CSGO gambling sites, and more specifically CSGO Lotto. With pure economics, there is always the risk of unfairness. This would be monopolization, price manipulation, and you know, just unethical practices. Another unlikely game with a very active trading scene is actually Rocket League, and it's an homage to the TF2 scene as well, where you're trading pure hats. The thing that separates Rocket League trading with CS trading is that trading for Rocket League occurs via the game itself, not the Steam API. There are a lot of things that devs have to consider before adding a simple function like trading in their games. While it will inject your game with a secondary source of income for every new collection of skins launched, people will want them and buy keys, cases, etc, etc. But there are also caveats to that. Who decides what to do? And of what level of interference do you want with this minor but very alive economy? By now you've probably burned out my analysis on cosmetic implementations, and frankly, the video has gone on for quite some time as well. The type of implementation is actually a lot more complex than people like to think beginning, and more often than not, it's not a cash grab. I'm not saying cash grabs games don't exist, but they don't last a very long time after the system is implemented, Blacklight Retribution being a great and dead example of this. As always, thank you for sticking around and watching me rave on about skins. Expect more videos like this, once a week where it's a broader topic, and well, you know, I enjoyed making this. If you liked the video, then, you know, you can like it. If not, the dislike button is right next to it. If you want to see more videos like this, then you can always subscribe and be the first to know when a new video comes out. And I will see you all in the next one.